are drawn, but they are standing in what looks like a somewhat relaxed pose. Art Broderick, if you're still there,
I am.
can we learn anything from the fact that he didn't shoot people on the way in? This is not someone who's on a rampage. This is not someone who premeditated this, who pre-calculated this. This is someone who probably, I would imagine, especially since we know that he's in his teens, is really freaking out right now, given what he knows about the police presence, which is probably much bigger.
That is a big point, because he's not on a rampage and just killing people randomly. So what we know is that, and this is a big advantage for the hostage negotiators, they can use this actual for their purposes of trying to talk them out of this situation. Now, when you're talking about the SWAT team, the SWAT team is going to contain the inner perimeter. And while the negotiators are talking, the SWAT team is going to try to shrink that perimeter as close as they can to the actual location of where that individual is held up with 1 or 2 or 3 hostages. We don't really know how many he's got. Now, they also might have the capability of actually getting to some of the video that's inside the store. I'm assuming, all stores now, especially Trader Joe's, they generally have video cameras around, and there is a possibility.
Hey, Art, I've got to interrupt you again. I'm sorry. What we're looking at here is aerial images of the police officers who have surrounded someone who it looks like they've taken someone into custody. Now, we've seen other people coming out. They have not been held like this. They've been taken away, not in handcuffs. It looks like this is someone who has his face up against the wall, his back to the police officers, in handcuffs, wearing a black tank top, it looks like. As I'd noted just moments earlier, we're gonna head to Miguel Marquez, who is standing right there at the police perimeter. Miguel, what can you see?
Well, it sounds like what you were seeing from the air. I can't see it from here on the ground, but I'm hearing at least from some officials that it appears that he has surrendered. It is not clear that anyone else has been injured or who else is in there with him, but it does appear at this point that whoever has been holed up in that Trader Joe's has surrendered and is either in the custody or shortly will be in the custody of the Los Angeles Police Department. Just a very, very tense Saturday afternoon here in Los Angeles.
In Silver Lake. Yeah, Miguel, actually what we can see, again, these are from aerial pictures, is someone who is very clearly in custody, who is being led away by the police officers. Now, what we know about the suspect is that he is a young African-American man in his late teens, so a boy, who carried out a shooting. He shot his grandmother and another young woman in Hollywood, which is about 5 miles from this Trader Joe's, before fleeing in his grandmother's car and then running into a post outside this Trader Joe's, jumping out of the car, firing at officers who were in pursuit. And then he went inside and barricaded himself inside that Trader Joe's. We first started getting reports of this just over 2 hours ago, almost 2.5 hours ago. This may be the end of this standoff, of this hostage situation between this young man and the LAPD. The last we had heard from the LAPD was that he had barricaded himself inside. There were an unknown number of people who were inside with him. And of course, the primary focus of law enforcement, and keep in mind, as far as we know, they didn't go in and do any sort of tactical incursion. They were trying to, we assume, talk this young man into coming out without harming others, and it appears that that's what may have happened. Art Broderick, your thoughts on what we're looking at?
This possibly could be the end of this situation, and I think what we were talking about before, because this is a domestic situation that just kind of exploded here, and we have a police chase and we have a target of opportunity for this particular individual. It looks like there's a very good possibility here at this point in time that the negotiators were able to talk this individual out. They put him in handcuffs, and you see a lot of the law enforcement officers sort of in a stand down situation now, and I'm sure they're going in there and into Trader Joe's to find people that have sheltered in place, find out if there's anybody else injured in there. But it looks like very possibly this might have come to an end at this point in time.
Charles Ramsey, if you can see these pictures, and I don't know if you can, but we're looking at around, say, 15 heavily armed police officers right outside the entrance to this Trader Joe's. But they certainly don't look like folks who are about to go in and take down a suspect. So can we learn anything from that sort of more relaxed stance?
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to determine just from some of these images, but I'm sure that if that is the gunman, then they're in the process now. They have to go in, they have to clear the building, they got to find anybody in there who may still be hiding. You know, people may not know that he's in custody if they've been hiding all this time. So there's still a little bit more that has to be done at the scene, but hopefully this is the gunman. Hopefully this thing is over, and hopefully no one else was hurt.
All right, I'm seeing now that a law enforcement source is telling CNN that the suspect is in custody. So it appears that this hostage situation is over. We had been told that there was only one suspect in his late teens who had fled that. They will be going inside, the police, to clear it out, to see if there's anybody else inside. I don't know if the people who were inside were being